Welcome to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower, where we do our best to give you useful information in 20 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, 5-time Voice Arts Awards nominee, David Brower.
Thanks, Alan. This is David Brower with our special guest from Houston, Texas, Mathew Paul. He's a managing partner of the Mayanha Financial Coaching Group, and they are financial coaches who help people by educating, empowering, and providing accountability to break paycheck to paycheck lifestyles and lead a life of being debt-free. Man, isn't that everybody's goal? Mathew Paul, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
You bet. First of all, Mayanha, where does that come from?
Mayanha is actually a biblical word. It is taken from the book of John chapter 4, and it's a Hebrew word. It means Jacob's well.
Okay.
And if you know the story, the lady who came to the Jacob's well, she was having shame, she was having guilt.
Yep.
But through a divine encounter, she went without shame and guilt, and that's exactly what we are trying to attain through this organization.
Fabulous. And she was a Samaritan, right? If I remember the story.
That is correct.
Yeah. Fascinating. What a great story from that time, and of course being able to lead that into what you do for people, because so many people, I would imagine, are I remember being truly tired of living paycheck to paycheck and losing my mind from time to time and wondering how we were going to get from point A to point B. How long have you been around? How long have you been doing this, Mathew?
Well, we started doing this in 2009. It's based on our own story. But at that time, we didn't have a company or anything like that. We were just so passionate about getting out of debt and telling every single person that we saw that, hey, you guys need to be debt-free. You guys need to be debt-free. But over the time, it became a company, and we have been doing this for the last 10 years now.
Wow. Congratulations. And you're if I'm saying the term correctly, you're certified financial planners for Dave Ramsey, correct?
Yeah, so it's not a certification per se. What Dave Ramsey has is he has preferred master coaches, just like the ELPs, university providers. So we are one of those, and we have gone through Dave Ramsey's training and stuff like that. But I'm on the verge to become a certified financial planner, CFP license.
Good for you. Well, speaking personally, my wife and I went through Dave Ramsey's program about 10 years ago. And because we had similar questions, as I'm sure a lot of your clientele does, and we're going, oh my God, how are we doing this? We're making good money. Why are we living paycheck to paycheck? And it was so frustrating. And we got through the course, and my wife and I took it together naturally, which was the key for us. And as we got through that and started making our checkoff list, if you will, a reality, I looked at my wife one day and I said, oh, so this is what a budget looks like.
It's very interesting that you said that. I will have all my clients go through a tracking system for the first month. So I tell them, don't do anything different. Just track your spending.
Yeah.
And then I help them track it, and then I give them a weekly accountability. We always provide phone calls on a weekly basis. And so the very first month when they come back and they can see their eyes all hold up, because I said, I had no idea that we have been spending so much money on certain categories, and that itself is worthwhile.
Oh my gosh, it was such an eye-opener. And we started putting money aside in envelopes, and when the envelope was empty, we didn't spend that category, be it food or clothes or whatever, and it really changed our lives. And like I say, it's been 10 years now, and we are still very blessed by that experience. So congratulations again on what you do and how you change lives. So over the last 10 years, I can't even imagine how many people you've helped.
Oh, we have seen hundreds of people. I mean, I don't know. Ever since we started tracking, again, the very first days of our life, we never had a company or so. We were doing it in churches and in our own offices and stuff like that. So we never tracked. But we created a LLC and under the state of Texas and stuff like that in 2015. So in the last 4 years alone, we had close to 1,000 sessions.
Wow, that's fabulous. And folks, if you don't know what you don't know about what we're talking about today, some of the basics, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mathew, but I think some of the basics that you help people with is is cash flow management, how to eliminate debt, how to look at investments and retirement, and basically at the very basic level, just understanding where your spending goes and making conscious, much better decisions on how to direct that spending.
You're right, David, but we go a step before that. So the very first step that we do is to put a schedule on the spouses, like most of the time it's husband and wife, or is it mother and daughter, or somebody with an accountability person. We try to have a family meeting every week. And so our process starts well before we talk about dollar. We say that, hey, you guys need to identify a time that you both of you can talk about money, and only about that time, and don't nag people with this money thing because nobody likes to talk about it.
That's
and
right.
So put it on the schedule, and every time you have that meeting, you need to send us a text or a communicate to us that you did it. And so that is where it starts. It's the basic communication between husband and a wife or partners trying to say, you know what, hey, this is how we are spending money. And so when that changes, the communication changes, the behavior starts to change, and then from there, everything else is easy.
Boy, isn't that the truth? And the key for us was totally the communication, because my wife has always been so good with the money. I have always been not very good with the money. And so for her to be able to embrace this kind of program, and for me to be able to come alongside, and like you say, that was the key for us, was not only the communication, but also what you just indicated, the accountability, not only to the program, but to each other. And that's part of the communication that really changed our lives, and I'm sure it affects many of the people that you work with.
Absolutely. And, it's as Dave Ramsey says, behavior is 80%, knowledge is 20%.
Yes.
And so when we go through the budget, when we said, so I don't know how much your listeners know about us. We do not sell any products. We have nothing to sell. We don't get commission from anybody, so we don't do any one of those things. The very first thing we do is to sit with somebody and create a family budget. And so first time the budget will not balance, and it is very rare that the very first time you do a budget is balanced.
Right.
And so we go into negotiations like, hey, you know what, hey, you said you want X dollars for your car. Can we reduce it to Y? You know what, hey, can we eat out one day less? So when we do that, you can see the communication gets better. And once we have a balanced budget, then we help them to track it, and then if we provide the weekly accountability.
Do you run into an issue from time to time where couples or partners haven't always been 100% honest about their financial issues with each other? Meaning, the one of the partners had one or two extra credit cards that the other person didn't know about, and those kinds of things.
Yeah, in the beginning we see that a lot because they might have a credit card from their school days, they may have something from their previous marriages. We see that a lot.
Yeah.
But once we start the process, we tell them you cannot hide anything. Now, I cannot change anybody's human life, right? I mean, if somebody decides to hide, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
But we always make it a point to extract everything out. For that matter, we pull both of their credit report and we go through it line by line in front of both of them so that they know, hey, these are the debt that everybody has.
Very good. Again, it goes back to the very basics that you talked about, and that is communication, honesty, transparency, commitment, accountability. I mean, this is not a let's just flip the switch and become debt free. You've got to make a commitment and really do some hard work.
Yeah, but as I always say, training for, I don't know whether you run for marathons. I have done. Training for marathon is one of the nastiest things you can think of. But the day that you cross that line, there is a sense of accomplishment that nothing can take away from it.
Nothing. Absolutely.
So the same way, the work is very hard. I mean, it's not easy to track, but once it becomes a way of life, and when you can say that, a daughter or son, I'm going to pay for your wedding or I'm going to pay for your college, there is a sense of accomplishment that you cannot take it away.
Well, absolutely. I'll be honest with you, I just got goosebumps when you said that, because it is absolutely so true. And to be able to take ownership of the next dollar you're going to spend instead of wondering where the last $500 went, that's a life changer. So you do counseling do you have an individual counselor for each family or couple, or how does your program initially work?
Yeah, so if somebody, most of the time we get people through Dave Ramsey's website, or sometimes they will Google us. We have association with, 40 to 50 different churches. We have association with various organizations, their benefit groups. So we get clients from many number of places. When they first contact us, the first time, I would prefer to see them, both of them together, so that I can see their body language, or the coaches can see their body language.
Yeah.
And then first session, we don't talk about money at all. We talk about their pain points. And we ask them, hey, what are your biggest dreams? And so people are like, yesterday we had a client who said, we are done with dreaming. I said, what happened? Dreams never happen. I said, no, then you lose hope.
Yeah.
Then you lose hope. So we help them to dream. We write down their goals. And then we try to achieve that, because in this journey, you will get disappointed, and it is those dreams that keep you moving forward.
Yes.
And so then we start monitoring their expenses for the first 10, 15 days, and then we will put together a budget, and then every family will be allocated one coach, and they will communicate with their coach, and then throughout until they are either debt-free or they decide that they can run by themselves.
And it's not a program, and I'm guessing here, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I'm guessing that each experience is unique to each couple or each group or each partner, right? I mean, it's not going to be, okay, 6 weeks, we're done. It's going to go on as short or as long a period of time as necessary to help these folks not only reach their goals, but feel like they have hope again.
Absolutely, because everybody's life is different, right?
Yeah.
I will give you two extremes that I have personally dealt with. I mean, these are the two extremes.
Okay.
I have a CEO. I mean, in Houston, we have so many oil companies.
Yeah.
I had a CEO of an oil company who makes millions of dollars came to us, and they are $2 million in debt. And on the other side, we have a single mom with 3 very small children making $20,000 a year. How do you even compare and contrast these two lifestyles?
Boy, no kidding. But wow. But the system has to be the same, right? I mean, maybe the system's not the right word, but the approach to cash flow and debt elimination and the process of gaining trust and accountability and hope, it has to be similar no matter what the dollars are.
Correct. The process is different, but the behavior, the upbringing, the lifestyle, the baggages, all those things are different.
There you go. Yeah.
And so unless we try to attack that, for example, I will say that, hey, you have to cut that country club that you are having. And they cannot do it because that's part of the status symbol if you are a CEO of an oil company.
Right.
And for somebody else, it may not be a big deal to go and cancel all the membership. So it is not only the money, even though the process is same. It is individuals, it is the relationship, it is their baggages and their upbringing. Everything comes into play when it comes to spending.
Yeah. And again, it's whether that's the $20,000 a year single mom or the multi-million-dollar CEO, they've got to really be open and candid and upfront and transparent in order for you to help them, and then they're on their way.
So, David, you brought a very good point. In this, the biggest factor is you should never feel that you are a victim.
Yeah.
And I've spoken. I mean, I've been invited to various places to speak and provide keynotes and stuff like that. But every time I say that, if you ever think that you cannot get ahead of your paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, that is wrong.
Yes.
In this country, anybody, I would say 99.9% of the people can get over the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. It's not going to be easy, but the very moment the victim mentality comes to you, you cannot move forward. So that's the first thing that we ask them to take it off.
Perfect. And that's when hope starts to return, right?
Absolutely. And we always share our story because, we started our life with $20.50 and we went through so many struggles in life. And so at one point of time, I lost my father and I lost my son in a span of 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And so we incurred a whole bunch of medical bills. And if somebody had no way to get out of this rut, was me and my wife. And if we can do it, anybody in this country can do it.
See, I think it's always fascinating to me in a good way, how when we are challenged with things in our own personal life, and we are able to take those challenges and turn those into opportunities to help and serve others. Oh my gosh, that is such a gift, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, because, once you have gone through the pain, you know you are no longer doing it as a part of your job or something. You're doing it because of your passion and you know what other person is feeling.
Absolutely right. And you know the success, you know the struggle, you know being a victim has got to be taken off the table. You know that hope has to be added back into their lives. And wow, that's such a gift, man. Such a gift that you and your team does. So when you were talking about initially visiting with couples or spouses or partners, and you want to see their body language, if they're in New York and you're in Houston, do you use video calls, FaceTime? What do you do?
Yeah, so we use a software called WebEx, where we can see each other. And I mean, we have clients in Iraq and Japan and Canada and all over the world.
Nice.
And so basically, we would like to see them over the web. It's not as perfect as sitting in front of you, but at least
right.
When I ask few questions and if they are speechless or if I can see some nudging going, then I know, then something is wrong there.
That was one of the greatest classes I ever took in college. It was the study of body language. And I probably remember more about that class than any of the other dozens of classes that I took, because it was so fascinating to me. And just watching a twitch of an eye or a lifting of an eyebrow or, oh, he just crossed his leg, or, there's so many little nuances that really unknowingly give people away, right?
Absolutely. I mean, most of our communication is not verbal, right? So we can get a lot. Yeah, we can get a lot from that body language.
Absolutely. So you indicated that you don't sell anything, which is great. How does your fee structure work?
So we have a monthly flat rate, and so it's like a subscription. So you come and join us, and you can take for 5 months, 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, depending upon how many other months they want.
Right.
And you will have unlimited support to us. You can email us, call us, text us, and we promise to respond within 4 hours between the hours of 7 in the morning and 7 in the evening.
Oh my gosh, that's a commitment. That's honestly, I don't know that I've ever heard of a company being that available in that short a period of time. Except for my own, to be honest with you. I do offer a 4-hour. I'm a voice actor by profession, and so I do offer a 4-hour thing with my business too. So that's really huge, I think, in giving people comfort to know that you will be there. You will be there for them. So for them to reach out to you, do they go to the Mayanha.com? I'm sorry, the Mayanha.com. It's Mayanah.
Yeah, so go to Mayanah.com, Mayanha.com, and I mean it's a pretty extensive website. You can see all the blog and the vlog and a lot of information, free information there. So just go to that email address and send us an email, or there's a message box. You can send us a message, and we will get back to you in 4 to 6 hours. 4 hours for sure. If it is a current client.
Yeah.
But if it's a new client, obviously, and depending upon the traffic that we have, but we try to reach everybody that day itself. There's no doubt about it.
Nice. And folks, if you go to that when you go to that website, the Mayanha group, I always want to say group, the Mayanah.com, that's Mayanah.com. Everything is there to answer a lot of your questions. There's 1-minute information, there's blogs, there's all kinds of testimonials. I mean, you can get a lot of your questions answered very quickly. You can find them on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. You are everywhere and available everywhere and do such a great service. Congratulations. Thank you.
This is much needed in this country right now, and I'm hoping and praying that we can impact this generation one person at a time.
One person at a time. Could not agree with you more. Mathew Paul from Mayanha, the Mayanah.com, Mayanah, financial coaching, where they encourage you that you can be a creditor and not a debtor. Imagine getting your hope back, not being a victim, and not living paycheck to paycheck. Be sure to reach out to Mathew Paul and his team. Mathew, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, David, for having me on your show.
Listen to Your 20-Minute Podcast with David Brower on the go. Downloads are available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, any podcast app, and on our website at davidbrowervo.com/Your 20-Minute Podcast. Until next time, thank you for listening.